Hey everyone, I'd like to play around with an idea today. What if you've never left heaven? You've only stopped recognizing that you're in it. What if life isn't a test you have to pass, but a remembering that you're learning to allow back in? What if the universe's difficulties are not punishment, but a roadmap that's coaxing you back, whispering, nudging, urging you to return to the truest form of yourself? I don't believe that heaven is a destination that you get to when you die. I think heaven is an awareness. And the thing standing between you and that awareness is the character you're pretending to be. People call it the persona, the mask, the survival mode that you have built and justified as necessary in your mind. The version of you who believes love must be earned. The version who believes approval must be constantly maintained. The version of you who pretended that being accepted was cooler than being authentic. And that version of you may be slowly, each day, becoming more and more exhausting to try and keep up. Somewhere deep inside, there is another version of you. We call it the real self. And it's been waiting like a prisoner, counting down the days until its sentence is up and you get to be you. That version isn't weak or not good enough. The cool thing is that version of you is actually patient and powerful. And it's very excited to be fully expressed one day. Jesus said, "You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free," in John 8:32. Now, people often think that means uncovering the truth that exists out there, outside somewhere, outside of themselves. But it's the truth in here, inside of us, the truth of who you really are that liberates your soul. You cannot feel like you're in heaven while pretending to be someone you're not. Because who would have to pretend to be somebody else in heaven? Who would have to shrink little pieces of themselves to fit in? Who would have to worry about pleasing other people when they're in paradise? Who would have to do certain behaviors or tasks to earn their worth when they're in heaven? Doesn't make any sense. In heaven, you would never need to perform. In heaven, you don't have to impress anybody. You're not thinking about how you can impress people. In heaven, you don't audition for love from others or try to get it from anywhere because you're amongst pure love, right? In heaven, you get to be exactly who you want to be without any thought. So, if you don't feel like you're in heaven, maybe it's not because heaven is missing. Maybe it's because you're missing pieces of yourself that don't give you the experience of heaven. Now, I've done this thought experiment for a long time. I really love it. If you died today and woke up in heaven with the same mind that you have right now, the thoughts that may come about would be worrying about what other people in heaven are thinking about the new guy that just got here, or wondering what the best use of your time could be in heaven. You don't want to miss out. You might have some FOMO. Maybe checking in every once in a while to just see how people are reacting to what you're doing, making sure you're doing things okay in heaven. Maybe you run into your grandma and you remember, I always have to give my grandma a kiss on the cheek when I see her, and I also can't cuss in front of her. She doesn't like that. So now, even in heaven, you seem to still have some obligations. The mind keeps going with all the little calculations of what to do and what not to do. And then you realize, shit, in heaven, it feels exactly the same as it did on earth, right before I died. All of a sudden, I have the same struggles, the same worries, and the same problems as I did on earth. And they have followed me into heaven somehow. So, if you go to heaven with the same mindset that you currently have, you won't be able to experience heaven at all. And the reverse is also true, which is very cool. If you have a heavenly mindset here on earth with no problems and no worries and no calculations of how you're supposed to be doing everything, you will experience heaven right here, right now. Every spiritual tradition has its own language for the ego or the character that we play. Christianity calls it the old self. Buddhism calls it the illusion of the self. Hinduism calls it Maya, or the identity that you have mistaken for reality. Stoics refer to it as the false attachments. They're different words for the same idea. The ego is the version of you that formed in response to the outer world. Authenticity is the version of you that formed in response to divinity and your inner self. And the strange paradox is this. The ego thinks it protects you from pain, but actually it keeps you from experiencing the heaven that you are in. Have you ever noticed that when you start becoming more of your real self, things just align around you? The right people, cool opportunities pop up, all happening at the right place at the right time. Hopefully we've all felt when life starts feeling rigged in our favor, right? Some people say synchronicities or coincidences. It's almost as if the universe breathes a sigh of relief and says, finally, you're here. We've been waiting for you. We have not been waiting for the character you made up, because the universe cannot reward the mask or the persona. The mask or the character isn't a real thing. When you pretend to be someone else, even when you succeed, I know I have all the time, who receives the blessings? The costume you're wearing gets a first place ribbon stuck to it, and you sit backstage with no prizes, no rewards, nothing. But the moment you step out as your true self, the universe responds like a tuning fork. Vibration meets vibration. Authenticity aligns with abundance. The true you is met with the feeling of freedom. When you become who you actually are, life stops resisting you, because the universe recognizes that it's the real you, finally. Your highest self isn't a future version of you either. It's actually the original version of you, the one that existed before fear, before judgment from others, before someone told you, like your parents or your school systems, how you should act here in heaven. Most of the time, it was to get love from the people around you. So, becoming your highest self isn't becoming at all. It's actually more of a returning. And all of heaven, all of God, all of the universe, all of reality, it bends and morphs to accommodate that version of you. Because the universe will always support growth toward the highest version of you, and it serves authenticity. So, how do we return? I promise it's not by forcing things. It's not by performing extra hard. It's not by fixing yourself or doing things the way you're supposed to be doing them. To be authentic, you tell the truth with your voice, your actions, your energy, your life choices, and you will slowly see your external world match up with your internal world. And when that happens, when your inner and outer worlds have a perfect match, which was what we would call alignment, that's what most would also call the feeling of heaven. That is what it will feel like if you went to heaven. Maybe the goal of life isn't to give up a bunch in order to get into heaven. Maybe the goal of life is to wake up to the understanding that you are already in heaven. And you wake up the moment you become the real you. Your authenticity is your passport back to paradise. So don't just ask, what do I want to do? Ask, who am I when I stop trying to be anything other than the real me? Because that person, that true, original, unfiltered version of you, that's the only person that is actually going to get the privilege of experiencing heaven.